Okay, let's try this again. Technical difficulties, man. Oops, there we go. Hey, Lauren. I'm back. All right, let me see who else. All right, let's see if this works. Hey,
Hey,
Janet.
no, I heard the sound change again when I joined.
So, do you need
So
help?
do you need help? Let me try that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, while we wait for her to pop back on. So, because she and I are going to talk a little bit about emotional eating. And one of the things that I'm just going to kind of start off with, which is why I like to do this at night, is because this is the time of night. I know it's bad, y'all. I'm so glad you're here too, Janet. So, one of the things that I know a lot of people struggle with is night eating. And, this is something that I think is probably the most predominant issue is night the struggle with the transitions that happen. And this past week, I had even gone to so I want to call it, I guess it's like a consultation group for like therapists and coaches and dietitians and nutritionists. And I go once a month. And one of the things that we had talked about was transitions and transitions being difficult for families. And one of the things, I'm just going to check and see if she's back. One of the things that a lot of people have issues with is transitioning from home life to work life and work life back to home life. And sometimes that takes place not just necessarily right at dinner time, but after when people are settling down. And you guys may have heard me talk about this before. Some of you have, where night eating is kind of a function of things calming down. And so it's not necessarily conscious. I really don't think it's conscious at all. I think it's subconscious. Oh, you're here and I can't hear myself. It's amazing.
Awesome.
So I started to talk about night eating because I know that that's a thing that a lot of people struggle with. And night eating being a function of emotional eating because, and my theory is that when you start to calm down for the evening, your brain starts to think, oh, well, what do I need? And so it could be the need for stimulus, right? Because that's sometimes what food is. And the other thing is to calm down, maybe whether it's negative thoughts or anxious thoughts or worried thoughts or depressed thoughts, because what ends up coming up is, oh, I have to get that report done, or oh my gosh, I have to call my mother-in-law, or oh my gosh, the house isn't clean and we're expecting guests in 3 days. And so while somebody might go, okay, well, the logical thing to do is to get up and start working on that, what I see more prevalently is where people put something in their mouth to calm themselves down. And so it is not something that you think about. It is not something that you're like, oh, pause. Do I want to put this in my mouth? Like that's what we want to create. But what happens is actually where people just end up eating and they're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Why did that happen to me? So I think that that's one of the main, not everybody has that, but a lot of people will have that. And sometimes it'll even happen during the day when you get busy and you may not have time to sit down for a meal, but there's many different avenues in which emotional eating can take place. But I wanted to start off with the one that I think that people have the most struggle with, which is night eating, which is not the same as night eating as a sleep disorder, which also I've seen people struggle with, which is they go to sleep and they wake up, but they're like sleepwalking and they're eating in their sleep, which is a totally different condition. But actually being awake between the hours of, let's say, 8 and midnight, and people are actively pursuing something after dinner, right?
Right. And it's, I guess, like the biggest battle that you mentioned with that is to just recognize that it's happening and that you have control over it, and like getting the tools
Yes.
in place to be able to combat that. So to be ready when that happens. You touched on like what my thing is if I'm sitting down and I have to focus, I have to have something done in 2 hours. It's just like I call it the munchies are calling my name. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, so gathering the tools to help, when the munchies are calling your name, what do you do instead? And that's like one of the biggest things. I kind of missed where you were, but that was one of the biggest things that I've gained, was like being able to stop and realize that, just because the munchies are calling my name, I don't have to invite them in.
I mean, there were times, and I know that I've mentioned this in like YouTube videos, when I was working with someone and she had said to me, "Oh, you need to start creating YouTube videos for your YouTube channel." I do much better on live stream than I do on YouTube. I don't know why, maybe because I'm just talking to air, whereas on live stream, I'm actually talking to people who are commenting, and it's totally different. Hey, Jennifer. So, but YouTube videos made me very anxious. And what I noticed in that moment was, and I know I've said this before, I just wanted to shove food in my mouth. Like I just I it I didn't realize it until I realized it, like when it was like, okay, I have to start doing YouTube videos, and I was looking around, and it was the anxious and the anxiety provoking thoughts, and then it was like, oh, this is what this is. And it was like this huge epiphany of like, oh, this happens, and this happens, you know, more than just here, like at this time.
And that was one of the first things that, in the first iteration of the group coaching program that we did, was like to name those emotions, name them instead of, so it was anxiety. It wasn't hunger. It was anxiety at that
Correct.
moment. So it was how to deal with the anxiety, and not just because anxiety doesn't need food. And so it
Right.
was naming it.
Or stress or worry or whatever, and naming it and transitioning, to what else it is. And then when I was writing the Bariatric Mindset Success book, there would be times where I can remember like shaking my leg, and I wasn't ready for like the next piece. And so my tool was, and on this specific weekend, I got up and I would like do little circles around my living room. And then I would be like, oh, I have a new thought. Okay, I'm going to go sit down. And so that was a strategy that I employed, because again, what happened was when I felt stuck, all I wanted to do was shove food in my mouth. And that was
Right.
because of a pattern that had been created. And so what I want to teach people is that the pattern that we've created is to soothe ourselves with food. And just as easily as you've created that pattern, you could break that pattern with practice, with commitment, with building consistency of new tools.
Right. So one of the things that I've done, and Amazon loves me for it, is, in one of the sessions that we had, I realized that, music gives me a similar high that, that munching on something. And so literally everywhere that I am on a normal basis, I can just call Alexa and she will start playing music for me.
Right.
And only because in the car they haven't released the Alexa yet, but it's like, so
They're about to.
they're about to, and I am on the waiting list. But, so
That would
wherever I
save a
am,
lot of
there's,
accidents too, by the way.
yeah, well, I seem to have been the poster child for accidents this year.
Oh,
So, they, yeah, I'm just well, not a train wreck, a car wreck this year, but
it's getting better. We're
yeah,
moving. We're moving forward, right?
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. But so music is my go-to, and then, and hot baths too. So just when I'm, if it's a time when I can do that, it's like it's a good thinking space for me, and it's like I don't feel the same anxiousness to eat when I'm in the bathtub, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I can go in there, I can think like even about stressful things, and it's okay. And so it's just finding, that was one of the things that I got, was being able to find something to replace that need,
Mm-hmm.
basically addressing it, hitting, head on, and then.
Well, the other thing I want to touch on is busyness, because a
Mhm.
lot of the people that come into the program are very busy individuals, and a lot of the tools that I teach are very simple and easy, and they're not something that is going to require, um, well, everything requires effort, but it's not going to require you to go out and, you know, employ elves or something. Like, it's something that I think is very simple. Like, I'm all about simplicity. And so a lot of times people will say, well, I don't know if I have time for this. I find that some of the busiest people are in the group, hey, Heather, and are able to successfully use the strategies because they're simple, because they're doable, and because we want you to practice something daily so that you can build the consistency. Hey, Beth, so that you can build the consistency in not just yourself, but also to see that you can do it. And that's the other piece of this, is that so often I meet people that are like, I just don't know. And I think that that's a core issue that a lot of people struggle with is, and whether you want to call it motivation or what have you, but it's that sustained effort. And when you're with other people and you're like, hey, I'm struggling, there's a ton of people to kind of encapsulate you or circle around you and to go, oh no, we're not going to let you fall. I think that that's different, because I know when people, go rogue, um, and who disappear, and I'm just going to see who's on this call. A couple people, when they disappear, Michelle, and then they're like, but I'm here all along. I just haven't been posting. And so that's, I think, the other function of it is that you can be interactive without always being there. And that's the good part. Oh, yes. And yeah, Janet says you're on to us. Right. So I'm on top of them. And I was gonna call out Lauren too, because if I don't see Lauren, if I don't see Angie, a couple of people who are in there, and I'm like, where are you? What are you doing? Like, and so one of the things that I know about people is that when they're in a bad space, they isolate. And so what I do is I go, all right, where are you? Like, come back. And that, I think, is a very, hey, Christy, I think that that's a great piece of this, is that it's like, I want to call it like we found our tribe, right? Hey,
Mhm.
Charlotte,
Mhm.
because when you have somebody that says, hey, you've disappeared, where are you? Then you're like, wow, they miss me, they care about me, and they're looking for me. But it's also that we're we're only as strong, I think, as we are with one another. So I feel like, or we're only as strong as like the weakest person. I don't know if you've ever heard that. But when isolate, we need the community the most, and I don't want to be that needy person. Well, that's the thing that I try to teach, is that that's what we're here for. That's what you're doing, that's what you're doing here. And that is why you need it the most. And so that's where everybody comes and lifts one another up, right? But that's why you need to post. That's why you need to share. And I know that nobody wants to be that needy person. And yet, what happens when you isolate? So now I'm going to go back to the beginning, because not that we've gotten that far, but like, everything happens in circles and cycles. And it's like, okay, so now I'm going to come back to night eating, right? So when you're not just utilizing strategies, but when you're not being present, when you're not saying, hey, I need help, what ends up happening?
You go back to old habits, old things. And I've been guilty too. I've been one of the people that you've called out, and I've been the lurker. But there's different types of people that come into the group, right? Those people that you've called on, you said, you said it yourself that they're still watching and they're still getting value from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they know that their tribe is there to pick them up
Oops. I'm
when
trying
they
to.
want to. And it is difficult. It is difficult being the needy person, but it's like what is so great about this group is that exactly what you said. You don't let people disappear, and it's like I want to be in my hole, Kristen, and you're like, no, no, how? Where are you? What's going on? What's happening? Yeah, so that's valuable in itself, just knowing that you can't disappear. So it's like you're in. You're just like, it's like your family.
Right, right. And so, okay, Karen says, I think we need this because we all have struggles and we understand what the person is going through. I'm trying to expand the comment, but it keeps popping up. Like pushing it. Sorry. You know how you're like, I'm gonna like the comment, but then, oh wait, here it goes. We can encourage each other. Absolutely. So I think that that's the important part, is that there's so much encouragement and there's so much, I'm just gonna use the word sisterhood, because amazing friendships have been made as a result, and everybody's in it together. So the emotional eating component, we try to hit that kind of head on, because, if you're not acknowledging like the biggest issue, can you guys hear me?
Hmm.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, cool. If you're not acknowledging the biggest issue that people are struggling with, then we're not really getting anywhere. And a lot of the things that people are struggling with are life issues. And so it's about dealing with life issues, because life issues become emotional issues. Emotional issues become emotional eating. And so we've got to take.
Whatever you just did destroyed the audio.
How about what now?
Perfect.
Okay. It might be my headset. I tried to put the headset back in. Um, oh. So it's kind of like the life issues impact the emotional eating, because if you don't know how to deal with the life issues, then it's going to turn into this perpetual cycle. And so the thing though is, oh, how about now? Can you hear me now?
I think their messages are just delayed. I can hear you okay now.
Okay. So the thing though is that this is not like a therapy group, and it's not a process group. It is most definitely a coaching group. And the reason I say it's a coaching group is that we focus on your goals. What are your goals? What are you doing or not doing to get to your goals? And yet there are people that use the group to vent, which is a great safe space for them to do that. But this is also not therapy. It's not counseling. It is definitely coaching. And that's because we have like weekly intention setting, and there's a lot of other elements in terms of, okay, what goals are you setting out to achieve or not achieve? What behaviors are you implementing? Oh, okay. So anyway, the other thing that I want to touch on in terms of emotional eating is that a lot of people don't have the awarenesses. So there are all of these life issues that are coming up, but they don't necessarily know how to plan or prioritize or create healthy habits, which all fall into kind of like goal setting, but also into creating this new lifestyle change. So it all, and I'm sure people have heard me say this before, it starts here. And so a lot of times, and I sent out an email today that was about the what versus the why. So a lot of times people ask, what do I eat? What do I eat? What do I eat? And yet what we're not asking is, wait a minute, why am I eating? Because most of the people that are eating off track are not usually eating off track at meal times. It's usually interspersed throughout the day or night eating. What do you have to say about that?
I think that's why our two things go so well together. So it's like, so like my bariatric box is approaching the what, so that it's not boredom that drives you to something else. It's, so the what, you intuitively we know, what we're supposed to be doing, and it's exactly that. It's the why. Logically, our brain knows that we shouldn't do this, but it's like what's making it difficult. Um, to do that. And I wanted to jump back a little bit to say, when you were talking about the
Let's
coaching and
jump
the
wherever you
tools,
like.
and the simplicity of it all. Simplicity doesn't mean that it's not going to take effort, but it's like it's practicing those things. Even though they're simple, it's practicing those things, and then it's like it's a wonderful feeling. It's almost a high in itself when you've practiced something so much that it when the first time you realize that you did it automatically.
Yes.
Um, that's I think that was like the best part about this. I was like, it's like nobody to share it with because it's like, it's my own personal win.
Right.
Well, I can share it in the group, but it's like, yay me, I'm drawing a complete blank, but that feeling is very, very fresh. See, Karen agrees with me. It's like it's just like a yay when you start doing these things automatically, and then when stuff happens, you've already had that developed, and so you're already in the mindset to tackle new things because stuff is going to happen, um, regardless.
And so that's kind of also that what we put in there is, okay, when this stuff happens, what do I do? And so we even create the strategies and the tools that help you remind yourself, right? That sets that up wherever you are. And then at the very least, if you have forgotten, then I tell people, come in the group, post, talk, share, and inevitably, one of us will remind that individual, like, hey, have you done this? Hey, have you done that? Right? Which is basically like, it reminds me of Yoda, like, use the force, Luke, use the force, like, use your tools.
Right.
Um, because I think that that is so important, right? Lauren says daily protocol. So we
Daily
have
protocol.
right, we have something, a little assignment that's called daily protocol that we have that's in the group program, and it's kind of like a little, well, it's a daily protocol for group members when they are struggling. So, and that's again why I'm we're having this talk to kind of let you know what goes on inside there. So I do want to be able to open this up to questions because while is on emotional eating, um, that's not the only thing that we talk about. Like, and again, kind of going back to like going beneath the surface, it's like, okay, the theme is emotional eating, but what's underneath there? Well, mindset basics, right? Our food and our feelings, right? Getting back on track and back to basics. Like dealing with plateaus and stalls. Like, so physical activity and exercise, resistance to, like, motivational issues. So setting healthy boundaries with family, friends, and otherwise, coworkers, bosses, um, having healthy relationships, knowing what that looks like, career and work life strategies and success strategies. Because one of the things that I've recognized in a lot of the research that I've done, is that once people have lost the weight or are losing the weight, a lot of things will shift. Career changes. Like, I've known dozens of people who have had amazing and transitional career changes as a result. Body
Myself
image,
included.
yeah, yourself included. I want
Right,
myself
because I
included too.
yeah, because so before I had weight loss surgery, I don't know if you guys know that my education, my degree is in engineering. I'm a degree mechanical engineer, and I had dropped out of school before
What?
this. I just didn't. Yes, I had dropped out of school. I just didn't have I was not a people person. The whole reason why I became an engineer was because I didn't want to deal with people. Being the 300-pound senior in high school, it's like, okay, if I never have to deal with people again, it's a good thing. And so I went to engineering thinking that I could be alone with my drawings or my calculations or whatever.
My
But then
computer.
I realized when I in my computer, and I'm thinking that would be a great thing. Then I get into school and I realize that in order for me to finish this degree, I have to like talk to the other students. And so I dropped out of school for 4 years. I did not want to deal with people. You're looking like, wow, I didn't know this.
I had no
And
idea.
so,
But was that directly related to your confidence and how you felt about yourself in your 300-pound body?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I and it was like a switch turned on. Like after I had surgery and I lost the weight, and I went back to school, did better as an older student, did better. By this time I had I had to work, so I was
Mm-hmm.
working full time and going to school, and I was doing better in school than when I was only a student. I A's and B's in engineering school, got it, was done. Just
That's
it's like,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, it directly related. I also, I also graduated 8 months pregnant too, because it also allowed me to have children,
Yeah.
in that. So it's like it has been amazing, but it's the career change. That's like, I mean, it's like it's the difference, just in lifestyle and doing what you want to do, or it has been for me.
Yeah. And I've met so many people on this journey, not necessarily in the group, but it's interesting because I'm doing a research project as well, where I've seen people, or I've had people tell me, like, I, as a result of this surgery, I'm doing my life's work. Like, I was in a different job before because I didn't believe in myself, because I didn't trust myself. And it wasn't until I had surgery that I started to shift emotionally, right? Hey, Brandon, shift emotionally and see that I was really empowered and I could do whatever I wanted. And so then it helped them change and actually pursue that career as a result. And so I think that the other thing that we talk about in this group quite frequently is something that I would call bariatric performance. People might be like, performance, what are you talking about? And I'm not talking about anything funky, okay? I'm literally talking about time management and productivity, because these are life skills that a lot of people do not have. And so the reason I think time management and productivity are important, because it's like, okay, you're already working, you already have a family, or you're going to school, or you have all this stuff. A lot of people don't recognize that the meal planning, the meal prep, the exercise and workouts, the function of getting your water in, the function of sleeping 8 hours a night, all
Cheers.
of these are essential for your long term bariatric success. And so, while there's certain things that you're going to be able to fit in, a lot of people go, well, where can I fit this in? I don't have the time for this. And so, that's where the other things that we talk about are where you do fit it in, how you can make it happen, how you integrate this um, into your daily life. And that's where there's increased self-worth, increased self-esteem, increased confidence. Hey, Beth. um, and there's a lot more successes. And again, we overcome not only the emotional eating, but the self-doubt and the persistent negativity. And the thing to remember is that nobody got this way overnight, so it's not going to undo itself overnight. But the strategies and the tools, when you use them consistently, they work. And so the other piece is the shift in the mindset, where people, and I had somebody post on a post earlier, she was like, I have learned so much about myself, like in the
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 short months that we were in here. And that's why I only open it up. I don't know if many people know this. I only open it up every 4 months so that it's a closed group. Because if we had a revolving door where people were in and out and in and out, you wouldn't get to know each other as much. You wouldn't get as close. And people wouldn't, well, I think I might have said this. People wouldn't open up as much and be like so willing to share. And when you open up, it's like the more you give, and I don't mean giving in terms of giving to other people, but the more you give of yourself, the more you get.
I thought I was unique in being able to like feel friendly with people online, and I guess that's just, you know, it is necessarily in my mind. But you touched on something that's like I think really important to people that are like considering being in the group. So there's different ways that you can interact with other people. You allow
Oh, yeah.
people to go live in the group,
Yep.
and it's, you know, if just to, you know, just for whatever, you can go live, you can get some accountability. If you just need a, you got this, or you go girl, you know, it's right there.
Like, hey, I'm on my daily walk today. I just wanted to share with y'all what's going on. And so that's the beauty of it, is that there's a lot of accountability, and there's as much accountability as you really want for yourself. And then again, some people pull back. And at some point, if I don't see somebody, that's when I'm like, hey, you, where are you at? What are you
Yeah, you can
doing?
almost you yeah, you can almost see like when people start getting comfortable with each other, because like in the beginning it's kind of, you know, people are filling each other
It's like the
out, and
first day
then
of
they
school.
exactly, it is. And then it's like when it comes to the end, you're like, okay, when's the reunion? And you know, when do we get together next? And um so
Yeah.
when is that time that we get together next?
Oh,
That's coming up here.
Okay, so we are finishing up the program that we started in August, and we had an extension. It was actually going to end in November, so we had an extension only for group members because they didn't want to have new people come in kind of like at a very transitional time. So we are reuniting, right? So the group program is open now for enrollment, and we essentially transition the first week of January. So our first set of calls are going to be January 9th, and we have Wednesday night and Thursday night calls. And then we have Thursday day calls. So we have really something to accommodate just about anybody's schedule, because we have daytime calls for the people who, let's say, work or just home during the day. And then we have evening calls for people who work like a regular 8 to 5. And so, and the
So
beauty of it is, as you know, is that if you can't make a call, there's always a
it's recorded.
recording. And it's not just, you can come and listen. Like, let's say your call is a Wednesday, but you know you're not going to make it. You can still come and listen on Thursday.
And then there's also office hours. And so in addition to the calls, like
Yes.
in between the calls, you hold office hours. And so you can ask anything like during
You can
those
ask
times.
anything. And I mean, at
So
any time, anybody can tag me, but office hours, they know that I'm sitting here and they're going to get an
you're
immediate
gonna get immediate
response.
response. Yeah. So this is the third iteration of it. So like we're on 2.1 now. And so the third iteration is coming up for enrollment soon. And
Yeah. So
so what I
we're
like about it,
enrolling through, huh?
I was gonna say what I like about it is that I've seen like you look and you learn from what the people are asking for in the previous classes, in the previous group, not classes, but in the previous group.
Yes.
You learn and you change it, so it's not like a static program that, you know, it's like one time you take it and you're done. It evolves. And so I
It
know
evolves
you
with
have
them.
something,
And
and so I know
Brandon
you're
says,
doing
my
something
surgeon's
like
office asked me to speak at a weight loss seminar. If you want to speak at a weight loss seminar, go for it. If they've invited you to speak, go for it, because that's gonna boost your confidence, and you're speaking to the testament of the surgery that you had, and you can tell your story. So absolutely.
It's always empowering to tell your
Your
story, and
story.
it's like you never know who you're
You
gonna
never know.
help, and you're in yourself included, because you know, this learning stuff about yourself every time I tell my story, it's like I learn something, or I present it differently, and I connect dots myself. um I know you're doing something different this time around. What's different about this next
Um,
group?
there's actually quite a few things different. And it's based on the feedback that I got, actually, because like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's always different.
It
So one of the
evolved.
things that a lot of people don't realize is um, I am certified in EFT, which is called Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it's also called tapping. And so each week we're going to have, beginning on Mondays, we're going to have little EFT tapping videos, right? So on various different topics. And so that's added.
Yay.
So, and all of these things I've added, and I haven't changed the price of the program. So, the next thing that I've added are like little mini meditations. And again, all of these things are downloadable for group members. So, it's like you add it to your iPhone and you can download it. So, weekly intention setting worksheets. Now these are not bonuses, these are what have been added to the core program.
Based
So,
on what the needs of people have been in the first
yep,
two groups. So it's growing and it's evolving is a better term, I
right.
think.
Right. And so the other thing that we have in terms of, and I am calling this a bonus, well, we have weekly step challenges. We're also going to have, which we didn't, I might have offered it before. Oh, no, I don't think I offered it before as a bonus. So, but we did have it this last time. So, 2 nutrition calls. So, I have a nutrition expert come in and speak on various aspects of nutrition. This time we will also have somebody do, yes, Janet, intentional part, the intention setting worksheets we're going to have. The other thing is we're going to have weekly step challenges, which also help with motivation. That's an additional bonus. Um, so what are the other things? So, I mean, we have like the traditional bonuses. Hey, Sandra, we have the additional bonuses, which are the orientation packet, which really is kind of a deep dive into like what that person wants to do and what that person wants to grow. But actually, what's really new this time is the VIP option.
Yes.
So the VIP option allows people to have more call time, and it's there's only originally there were only 6 spots available and we have 4 spots left. And so they get an additional call, and there's only 3 people on a call. So there's an additional call different day of the week, and so it will alternate when we fill up to 6 people. And so it will be like, let's say someone has the first and third Monday, and then the other 3 people have the second and fourth Monday. And so they will get an additional call, which means additional call time with me. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm not taking on any other one-on-one clients. And so this is another way for the group members to get more one-on-one time and more like where they're able to share more or get additional feedback. And it's not at a one-on-one price. And that's the thing that's the beauty of it is they have more time, more one-on-one without that. And so, and that's why the calls are small. And that's why I haven't opened it up more, because that, you know, that's, that makes it VIP. That makes it private. And there's only, we only have 4 spots left. And it's going to be really exciting because it's going to be a call. I know. And that's what a lot of people have said. And I've obviously um, it's not anywhere near a one-on-one rate, but I tried to make it as affordable as I could for individuals while also recognizing the time that's going to go into it. Not just for me, but also in terms of creating that time for those individuals and their needs.
Yeah, so I mean, there's still tremendous value in the non VIP
Right.
option. So Janet and um, I forgot who else said that. So do what you can, and it's like if I think that is it's still a great place to be, and you won't run out of value from it. You won't run out of value because even like when you go back, you look at the same stuff um, that you've been. So I think I've
And
been
like
doing
even
this
the
since August.
worksheets from the first group that we had in April, like the worksheets from the April group are completely different from the worksheets
They
in the
are.
August group. And these groups um, are the January group. Well, it's like it'll start all over. So, I'm glad you guys love it. So Janet says there's lots of value. I agree. And I do try to do my best to go above and beyond. I'm in here every day. I'm commenting on stuff. I try to watch the lives within 48 hours of people putting them up. So I'm in there every single day. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention, Nancy. Nancy's like, ah. So, and I haven't put it on. So that's another bonus of the program. So when, and this is just the basic, this isn't even VIP. Forgot to mention this. Yes, Nancy, we will. So, um, my friend Patricia Hill from My Bariatric Kitchen and we're doing a book study. It's amazing. So we're doing it on bariatric mindset success. So it's a book study where we go through the book, and it's not even a part of the group program, but you get the book study as a bonus of the group program. So when you sign up for the group program, thank you for reminding me, Nancy, because I just announced it this past week. It is a bonus of the program, and it's $100 value.
Yay. Free
So it's
stuff.
another
Love it.
bonus. Bonus. So, and for the other thing that we're announcing is I always, whenever I send out my packets, I send out different goodies. So whether it's bariatric vitamins or, oh, Nancy's like, I need links. Okay, I'm going to post a link. So I always send out bariatric vitamins and things like that. And also, we're going to have the sample of the new Bariatric Pal Bariatric 1 vitamins that are going to be coming as a bonus. We also have 30% off of their products, right? We have, I mean, there's just so much. There's the bracelet that comes as a bonus. I just keep on, right? Isn't that your I keep going.
I keep going, yeah. And so, right, and there's the
Come
bonus.
back,
There's like,
Nancy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, you gotta get Nancy her links because she's coming for you. Um, yeah, and so there's the lifetime discount that I don't know if we've announced that yet. The
No,
lifetime
we have.
discount to my bariatric box
Oh
when
no,
you
I didn't know that.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, so it's a so like, as a member, like, you just verify their membership and then they get, a ongoing discount to my bariatric box. Forever. Forever, ever.
Forever, ever. Okay, I've just posted it. I posted the link replying to Nancy, and then I posted the link again. Um, so we have it open, and the thing that I've been telling people is there is a payment plan. There is a payment plan. You don't have to pay for it all at once. And the beauty of this is, I'm not necessarily encouraging like, sign up after Christmas, but you can if you want, because enrollment's gonna be open through New Year's Eve. So this could be a Christmas present for yourself. Hey, Dawn. Oh, the sample call. Thank you, Lauren. Y'all are awesome. Because I'm sitting here just chatting. So we're going to have a sample call Wednesday night. So if people are like, okay, what exactly can I expect? We're having a sample call Wednesday night on the 12th, which is 2 days from now. And it's 7 to 8:30 Eastern, 4 to 5:30. I miss you too, Dawn. So it's 4 to 5:30 Pacific, and I'm gonna have to get creative. 6 to 7:30 Central, and Mountain, 5 to 6:30 Mountain Time.
Yay.
I'm using my.
That was way more brain power than I can muster up right now. I'd have
At
people showing up.
8:52 Eastern. So the purpose of the sample call is so that people get an idea of what to expect. And even if you can't make it live, you have to sign up to get the replay. You have to sign up to get the replay. And then you'll get the replay and you can watch it, and then you get it. The only thing that I don't do on the sample call is pass out worksheets. So that's the only thing. Like, otherwise everything is the same. So I may give tips, I may give tools, but I'm not creating a worksheet like I would in the group program. So that's where in the group program, what happens is at the end of the week, after we've had a call, I complete a worksheet and then I upload it to our private secret Facebook group. And that's where
that'll give you
is.
And that'll give you a taste of just what the calls
and that's entail. Just the calls.
And it's like there's great value in participating in them, but understand that life happens and you can still get value if you can't make a call. Like you said, there's the replays. But then there's also, just being in the group and right, and participating that way. So
if you looked at it this way, because I know there's a lot of people, I want people to look at it this way. You participate in 2 calls a month. 2 calls a month. Lauren, yes, you do have to sign up again to get the link for the sample call, because it's for everybody. Hey, Tina. So, but the sample call is free. So you don't have to pay for anything. You just put in your email and you get the link for the sample call. And then you jump on the Zoom, because it's going to be a different Zoom link, Lauren. So if you're just talking about the 2 calls that you jump on, it's less than $50 a call. It's less than $50 a call, right? So, and this is not group therapy, this is group coaching, but any group that you go to that is like a coaching group, you're definitely not going to find it for less than $50. But not only that, you get access to all of the calls. And like right now, in this group, we have 16 hours of content per month. 16 hours of content per month. This next group that we're having, the way that I've created this schedule is that we will have 24 hours of content per month. Because instead of going every other week, I will have a Wednesday night call. Yes, I do, Tina. I sleep. And I got in 13,000 steps today.
Go you. Go you. And that's like that price
Nancy,
really
it's a
is
4-month group.
That price really is amazing, because and it's not only
it's $97 a month for 4 months.
And so like if you break that down per hour, so since your brain's working so well, if you want to break it down, so it's $97 per month, 24 hours of content. What does that boil down to per hour?
$4 an hour.
Less than minimum wage. If you do it that way. So it's really, there's really value to it. And that's just the content, that's just the live content. That's just something that can be timed, because then there's all of the other stuff that's in the group
goes, that's cheaper than 1 hour of therapy. Because here's the thing, you may not
the whole month is
on all of these calls, but like people can hop on. You know that. like somebody's hopping on the Wednesday night call and then they're hopping on the Thursday night call and they're just walking or they're just listening. Or you can download the replays because what we do on Wednesday night is not the same thing we do on Thursday night. And so when somebody's like, oh, they come in the group and they're, I'm really struggling. I'm like, did you download the Thursday call? Well, no, that's not my call. I'm like, download the Thursday call. We just talked about that. You just got tools for that. Like, and then they're like, oh my gosh, that's it. I missed you too, Nancy. You got to come back, girl.
And so it's not one of the things I've found by like I haven't there's nothing else that compares to this exactly, but
Hey,
just
Haley.
when you're talking about coaching in general, you just highlighted a point that I think is really critical. The Wednesday night calls are not the same as the Thursday night calls because you didn't record something in 2016 and you're charging people just to replay videos that you made a long time ago that
Yeah,
aren't pertinent to what's going on then.
correct.
It changes, it evolves. So you're like you're putting in the work and
Yes.
you're tailoring it to the people that are there. So
Yes.
it's as close as you can get to one on one, but being in a group and it's like a
Without the
heck of a
one
lot
on one
more.
price.
Right. To boil it down to the basics. And I think that's amazing because I've come off some money for stuff that I realized like I wasn't making up that scenario. Somebody recorded it way back and they're under the idea that it's still valuable. Yeah, it's still valuable, but it doesn't speak to the interactive needs of the person right then and there. And so I think that is like the biggest um plus of this is that it's how can I not do this? See, Nancy's like very smart person.
So, I mean, it's just, it's exciting because, again, it's not just the value of the calls, but everybody who's interacting. And I'm going to use this word up leveling because everybody is going to up level when whether they participate in the calls or not, because I've had people that have said, I haven't showed up on any of the calls, but I've downloaded all the materials and the tools are invaluable. Like they're priceless
Mm-hmm.
because just because I make a tool for Nichelle, Nancy might be going through that same thing 2 weeks from now, but she gets the same tool because it's on the worksheet. You are. It's just one of those things that um I feel that also in the group what happens is somebody talks and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing that she is. And so I feel that it's normalizing because I think in our community in bariatrics, people feel like they're the odd man out. Like nobody could possibly be going through what I'm going through. And I think that is also very isolating. And when you recognize that people are going through the same stuff, it's empowering to go, wow, she's overcome this. I can too. So, again, what we're kind of doing is we're building this bridge and we're building this community where people are coming together, not just for the connections, but also they're building their self belief through other people, through seeing where they're coming together. So instead, where other places say, here's how we're different, or here's how we don't match, what I want to create is here's how we're alike. So I want to, what my goal is to bring people together and to create a place of love and hope and encouragement. And we're going to try to do our best to leave the judgment at the door. And sometimes judgment comes in, not that frequently, but when it does, we squash it and we meet it with love instead of fear.
Right. And it's I think you touched on something that was really important for me to learn. It's like you're going to have things that are related specifically to the fact that you've had weight loss surgery. There's a whole ball of wax that goes with that. But at the same time, life still goes on. So like the other life that you had or you would have had, that stuff is still there. So you still have those things to deal with. And then so like this is another layer. And then so the commonality comes that we all have this extra layer, but that we're also people underneath that had like, that still have
Right.
the other part of life that's not dealing with this. And so putting it all together and dealing with it all.
But here's the powerful thing. we did not get here because of food. Like, we didn't have surgery because of food. And people might be like, what are you talking about? Like, we got here because of food. And I'm like, no, it was because we didn't understand what strategies and what tools to use instead of food.
And so that we is really important too. So I don't know, like I don't know who's watching or what the audience is going to be, but
Hey, Donna.
I thought it was I thought it was really huge to that you walk the walk, because it's totally different from me listening to someone who hasn't been through this, who hasn't had surgery, who hasn't lost 100+ pounds, to come in and tell you what to do and how it feels, and what you should feel. But you've walked the walk. And so you know firsthand
Every
what this
damn day. And some days it is
walking the walk.
hard.
Yes.
And some days it is not so hard. And, it's, I think that's the beauty of it, is that, you know, there are some things that I couldn't speak from experience. This I can.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I thought I saw my name there for a
Hey,
second.
Linda.
Yeah.
So this, I think that's what's so powerful is, and again, um, the book, the book study is going to include strategies from the book, and that's a bonus. But the group program has completely different tools because it's individualized to the members. Does that make sense?
Right. So basically you have the call scheduled, and that's basically, the types of things that you're going to, but the content isn't even created yet because you don't have the people in the group yet. So this is like
The content is created by the people in the group, essentially.
basically.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think that's huge. And that's why I keep going back to that it's not like a canned thing that
Mm-mm.
you're like just trying to push on people. It's really, and I can say that having been through them twice, I was genuinely surprised at how different the first group was from the second. And
Oh, just
there's
watch
some
out.
themes that are you're gonna blow my mind again. Is
Well,
that
because the other thing that happens, and so a lot of people, you were talking about things that are canned. So I go through new trainings consistently. Linda, the book is called Bariatric Mindset Success. And there's a book study that comes with the group program as a bonus. And we're doing it in conjunction with My Bariatric Kitchen and Patricia Hill. So this new program, so I've gone through some more trainings, and so that adds tools to my toolbox. So whenever I go to a new training, I add tools. So I'm constantly changing it up, and I'm constantly up leveling myself so that when I'm in the group, not only am I delivering fresh content, but I'm delivering new tools and finding something like, okay, we tried this wasn't working for you. Let's try this over here. And then it's like, what may not work for you may work for Donna or Lauren. And then, like, what, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's constantly keeping it fresh and up leveling the tools, coming up with new coaching skills, coming up with new life skills, because that's something that within the bariatric population, we need more than anything is new skill sets.
okay? So how awesome was, like, I'm not asking you how awesome you are, so I'm going to ask the people that are watching. But how awesome is it that you said that everything's not going to work for everybody. So if this tool doesn't work for you, there's probably something else. So, so you're not shoving something down somebody's throat. If it's not a deal where if this doesn't work for you, then there's something wrong with you.
Oh,
No.
no, we do not come from that. First of all, and
Yes.
that's like one of the key principles. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with Michelle. There's nothing wrong with Nancy. There's nothing wrong with any of us. It's about using tools and strategies that work for us. And that's again part of this process, is that, you know, when you recognize like, oh, that's not going to work for me. Like somebody said that to me on a call one time, and all the calls are recorded, like, that's not going to work for me. I'm like, okay, next, let me see what I'm going to pull out of my bag of tricks here. And that's the beauty of it, is when somebody kind of like gives me that hard stop and they're like, wait a second, it's okay. And I don't take it offensive and I don't take it personally, because it's not about me. It's about me helping you in the best way possible. And sometimes the other ladies on the call will go, oh, how about this? Like, and I will totally forget where I'm, you know, oh yeah, there's that tool. So
And that's the part of that's how the relationships are built
like,
within the group.
absolutely. And there's sometimes that Donna's like, hey, what about this? And it's like, that's the other piece, is that, yeah, I'm the facilitator or this is my group. But once a lot of the senior ladies, and, you know, who have been in the group once or twice, and they're on the call and they're like, oh, what about this? Like, I may not remember a specific tool that I brought out in April, but they're like, oh, we have this on our worksheet. I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's like, again, that's where we come back around, and everybody's nurturing. Or like, I think it was Donna a week or two ago. Donna's always great and active, but she was like, oh, there's this tool. And I'm like, yes, there's that tool. And so everybody's going to come up with different ideas. So it doesn't have to come from me. It might come from somebody else in the group. And then it's like, oh, that's a great idea. That's going on a worksheet.
I think that's the differentiator between this and some other things that I've tried or seen, that it's not a one size fits all.
It's not.
Um,
And this is the other thing. We have pre-ops in the group.
hmm
We have, you
And I
know,
think that's a great time to start. That's a great time because it's like, a lot of people, if anybody that I've talked to that's gone through this, it's like you prepare. It's like having a baby. You are ready to have the baby. So you're ready for the liquid phase. You're ready
yeah,
that all this stuff. And then it's like one day you just get to like, what the what? It's like, and then so like now you're prepared. It's like like there's baby books, but then it's like this is the next level. This is from like, once everybody lets you go, like for that first 12 weeks, there's a
fly, little birdie,
crap ton of
fly.
it. Yes, and then it's like after that, like, okay, now what? And then so this is like from that point forward, and it's like it evolves as people evolve, and it's just something that's lifetime strategies. It's not something that's just for the 6 weeks or for the 3 months. I figured that I'm going to use this forever because it becomes habit, because things become second nature to you, and you just always it's getting a new mindset.
Mm-hmm. And it really is the mindset. And that's why I also bring in, you know, the nutrition and the meal prep peeps, because I'll do that. Like, I've tried to do that, but that's not my strength. You know, hey, Alicia, my strength is the mindset piece. Like, and
hmm
I tell people all the time, this is our master computer. If we're not going to change this, then, you know, this was stomach surgery, not brain surgery. We have to
hmm
follow through on the surgeon's recommendations. And if we're not following through, or if we're not motivated, or if we're frustrated, or if something happened at work, or something happened at home, or something happened, period, and we're not putting ourselves first. I mean, I could talk an hour alone on self care. I could talk another hour on boundaries. I could talk another hour on people pushing your buttons. You know, it's like, but that's what the struggles are. Hey, Dorothy, but those are the struggles. And that's why we need the additional support. Thank you, Donna. Not my strength. So, you know, but that's the thing that we look to is, and then the number one question that people ask, and you said it, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Or why can't I just? And it's like, because you've got to work on this.
hmm
And, you know, again, it's not about the what, it's about the why. It's about what's underneath, right? So it's not what you eat. Yes, it's what you eat, but more importantly, it's why you're eating, let's say, the things off track.
Right, because it's like it's bridging that gap between. It's like you have this. It's like the angel and the demon sitting on your shoulder. It's like you know what you should be doing, and you know what the rewards are for that, and you
Mm-hmm.
know that you spent you know that you modified your body. You know all these things, but then at the same time, why is this still attractive to you? What is this feeding that that the right thing isn't doing? So that
Right.
why is it's everything, because
Yeah.
we know the what, but it's getting to that why. And I think necessarily, because we've all come to this point, necessarily we've had trouble with the why. And like you said, it's stomach surgery, it's not brain surgery. And
Yeah. And Linda said at the end of the month, I will be 2 years out. I want to add that at between 18 months and 2 years, that's when I struggled the most, is because, and I don't know if anybody else experienced this, but it was like, okay, who am I? Because you kind of lose the majority of your weight in the first 2 years. And that doesn't mean you cannot lose more. I'm a firm believer and you can always restart and start over and, lose, regain, and all of that. And I think that that's where people go, okay, now what? And so I've said this before, where if you're not consistently on this journey, exactly, Donna, exactly. She says, Linda, there's several of us moving into the unknown of maintenance. And so if you don't know what's next for you, you can subconsciously recreate the diet cycle. Not that you want to,
mhm.
but you're like, oh, now I'm in maintenance. Now what? You've never been in maintenance before. And so you don't know what that looks like. And so you've got to have a new set of tools and strategies. Weight loss is over, now is maintenance, so you don't regain, because you may not know what to do with yourself, and all of a sudden you start manifesting regain unconsciously or subconsciously, because that's all you know. Your whole life has been weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, regain, weight loss, regain, weight loss, regain. We want to end that cycle and to get to this place of long-term maintenance where you are fulfilled and you are happy and you are not only those things, but using the tools so that when bumps in the road do come your way, you've got it handled.
And that's not to exclude the people who have just discovered this program after they've had regain.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, because I'm in that category. Dealing with the regain and dealing with how to be consistent. Because if you look at any research, it's the consistency that will will lead to the long-term success and health benefits, just
I
being
posted
consistent. So
just the
maybe
other
that's where I
day,
learned that from.
Bruce Lee, I posted it on the Bariatric Mindset page, where he said his quote is, long term consistency trumps short term intensity.
This is
How many
that's a
people
good one.
they're like, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours, and then they don't go for 2 weeks, and then they go to the gym for 2 hours, and then they don't go for
It's yeah. um
weeks?
I have been guilty of such, but I like it's like it's one of those things where, like that I was mentioning before, there's an example right there. It's like if gym is your goal and that's what you want to do, it is going to it's like once you're working in
Baby
and
steps.
decide
Yep.
the time that you're going to do it and you're working into your schedule, you still have to make yourself get there, and there's still going to be 999 excuses why you can't go. But it's like once you just keep on doing it and it starts to feel good, and you automatically pack your bag and you automatically start heading that way, and then you're like, wait, I went to the gym and I didn't think of 99 excuses. I only thought of five this
Right.
time. So, that's an example that I was looking for like an hour ago. But that's one of those amazing things. And like,
Yeah.
side note, that's why I stopped straightening my hair, because it was one of the excuses for the gym. It's like if I had straight hair, I would sweat it out and it would look bad.
Uh-huh.
And so like now it's like it's always curly, and so it's never an excuse for the gym.
Yeah. And Nancy says, I have a treadmill at home. My gym is here. Like we started to put one in the basement. So it's the same thing. It's like no excuses. Like,
Hmm.
um, so really that's what this is about is, yeah, it's no excuses. But instead of going no excuses and somebody shaking their finger in your face, it's more of like, what's underneath that? Where's the resistance coming from? And really helping people to practice awareness and then help them to take those action steps and to create simplicity. Again, we're back to that word simplicity. So that's awesome, Linda. She goes every day to work out. Nancy, I have a treadmill in my basement. Or Donna says I have a treadmill in my basement too. Actually need to go in that room. So does
And
anybody
that's
have any questions so far? Does anybody have any questions? Enrollment is open until the 31st. We wanted to kind of talk about what you'll experience, you know, the struggles that I know that come with emotional eating, which I think we've covered. And then, of course, we've already covered the keys to long-term success, which is support, right? Long-term support, having, and then having new tools, shifting your mindset, and consistency. Does anybody have any questions? I'm excited, and I'm excited for our sample call on Wednesday, because that's when the fun, I mean, this is fun, but when people are like, that's like now they're asking questions. But when they sign up for the sample call, oh, we need the sample call link. That's what I need.
and questions for me too, like as a participant. Um, Kristen for the content, and I can answer anything.
I'm going to post the sample call link on the page. I'm going to post it right now.
There it is.
There it is. So the group, Linda, is $379 or 4 payments of $97. So it's a 4-month group, and we were talking earlier. So it's $97 a month. It's all on the website. And it includes all of the amazing bonuses. The one thing we haven't updated on the webpage is the bonus of the book program, but we're going to add that because we just added it on last week, at the end of last week. No. So the book study is going to be in a completely different group, Nancy, and those are going to be live streams, and it's going to have different content, different format. And there's going to be some live streams from Patricia of My Bariatric Kitchen, and then some of those will be mine. But it will, once you sign up for the group program, and we haven't submitted the links yet, but what we're going to do is at the end of the month for everybody who's signed up, because the book study won't start until January 10th. So our group program actually doesn't start until, our group, it's going to be the same format, the similar format. So, where we have our Zoom calls, and for those who are questioning, somebody asked about that. So we do Zoom calls where you can turn on your video if you want, or you don't have to, you can just listen in. And so similar format as we've had before. They're going to be just a couple changes in terms of like we're going to try to keep it to, that's why I added additional call times every other Wednesday. So we have 12 people on a call. And so we actually are limiting enrollment too. So we've only got, I want to say like 30, which sounds like a lot, but we only have about 30 spots left. And so 12/31 is our day to kind of close the doors. Can we just do a, yeah, you can just do the book study if you want. And that is, I mean, I'd have to send a different link for that. And that's a different price altogether. When you do the group program, you get the book study for free, but the book study is separate, and I could give you the link for that. So and that is and it's $100 value. So any other questions? Hey, Courtney.
How often do you get to like go through a book with the person that actually wrote the book? I'm just geeked out by that. Like, I mean, because I like, you're sitting there sometimes. What was the author thinking? Or did they consider this? Well, just ask her.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's gonna be different though, because the book study is literally just about the book. The group program is tools and strategies, and again, you get that one-on-one time, and it's it's different because in the book study we're going to be doing live streams, but there won't be one-on-one attention where you get to talk about, this is what I need. Hey, Courtney. And so that's why I think when you get both, it's like you get the best of both worlds because you get both. So.
Wait, who was that just agreed with me? That's like my favorite person of the day. I hadn't named my favorite.
Lauren goes, she agreed with you.
Okay, so Lauren's my favorite person of the day.
So, yeah. Any other questions? I feel like we're kind of wrapping up.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for any other comments that we've gotten.
And if somebody's watching this later and like has something for me, I'll keep watching this for a few days, or Facebook will remind me if you tag me in it and you have something specific for me to ask, like being um on the coachee side of the program. I'll be glad to answer those questions in the group.
Yeah.
Or on the
And
page.
do you want to tell them what we're doing for January?
Yes. So I guess this is the announcement right here.
I'm calling you
So
out on it, right?
you are. But Kristen's taking over my bariatric box. So she's going to pick all of the items that are going to be in there. So it's gonna be great. This is our first collaboration. This is the first time that my bariatric box has collaborated in this way, and it's gonna be awesome. And I look forward to it. And we've already started talking about the things that are going to be. What is the name of the gal here with you? This gal is.
Where's my cup?
Oh, your cup?
Mm-hmm.
This one? Well, this is not yours. This one's Leslie's. But
Hey, Marie.
yeah, so in January it's going to be the Bariatric Mindset edition of my bariatric box, and I am so excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what better time? It's like January, everybody's fresh starting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Kristen's favorite things. I've already given her my list. I'm like, okay, we need this. And then we need this. And so, yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, so I think that, and I would suggest that they sign up for a subscription, but there's a place where they can sign up for the January box, right? Oh, and Courtney just said, I love the box. She gets it monthly. And she had just posted on her page how awesome the box is because she gets to try all these new products. So I think that that's essential because where else do you get to try new products every single month?
I actually saw Courtney's box when we were shipping. So, Courtney, did you see that I wrote you a little note on your box? That's not on everybody's box, the little heart Nikki. Like, hey, Courtney, heart Nikki. That was
Ah,
just on yours. And
yes,
oh
Nancy.
gosh.
She's
And
the
Angie's.
owner and CEO of My Bariatric Box. How often do you get to hang out with a CEO? I mean, hello.
We do. We do ship to Canada. And the shipping cost to Canada has gone down. I think like 2 months ago, I found a better rate. It was, I believe it was $14, and now it's 12. I mean, it's something. So we shipped the smaller box to Canada. Hopefully we'll get more trade agreements and we'll be able to ship the larger stuff too. But the small box is like our flagship box that and you get like all the protein and the bars and everything in there.
Yeah.
Yay, Tina, we'd love to see you. And there's um there's a discount that I don't have right now that's available to your peeps, but I will
Okay.
send it to you. I'll post it.
So everybody that's in the group or that signs up for the group also gets an additional discount. Purple pen.
These are great. These are those Ink Joy pens. Is that the same kind of pen you have? Like, is it an Ink Joy pen? Those are great.
Enjoy.
Yes, those are. See, great minds think alike. Everybody go get an Ink Joy pen. These are like the best pens.
Yeah. You're a bariatric queen too, my dear Nancy. Dan says that's exciting. Shipping is cheaper. And the last thing I will say, and I mean, the the group program is open till the 31st. I have some calendars left. If anybody wants a calendar, um, that's kind of like the next thing for, and we don't have as many to put in the box. Plus, it'll be January before you know it. So, but there's
Yes, purple is her brand color and hot pink is my bariatric box color.
hot pink and
Yeah,
purple. Yep.
yep.
So, do you ladies have any other questions tonight? Submit a link, Nikki, so that she can. Marie goes, I want to start the box.
Okay, I'm going to give
Happy
me
birthday, Tina.
happy birthday.
Yay. I knew you'd get it. All right.
Okay, Joy.
Good, Nancy. We're excited to have you back. So if you guys have any questions about signing up, you can message me on the Bariatric Mindset Facebook page. You can email me at Kristen@Bariatric Mindset. You can comment on this post and tag me or tag Bariatric Mindset. I will answer. So there's a lot of ways to get in touch if you have any questions. Again, we start on January 9th. Enrollment is open until December 31st. So I know that this will be a Christmas present for a lot of people, but I promise you it will be, everybody who's in is like, okay, it's amazing. So you'll love it so much you won't want to leave. And we have a lot of repeat enrollees because it's not static. It's consistently changing. And we're consistently up-leveling the tools, strategies, and techniques. And again, it grows with you. So if you guys have any questions, are you looking for your link?
I am. Well, it's mybariatricbox.com, but the code is Mindset Life.
Mindset Life.
LIFE, like for life, forever,
Woohoo!
as long as you're alive.
I love it. Right. Life present. Exactly. Marie says, true that. So, all right, guys, join the sample call. If you guys have not signed up for the sample call, you will want to do that. I will post it one more time for everybody to sign up for the sample call. And then, of course, if you're ready to sign up for the group program, I'll post that link again. We do have 4 VIP spots available. And I know that those will go quickly because there's only 4 of them. So if you want some additional time and attention, that's the way to work with me in 2019. So yeah, it's exciting. It's the best time of year to get started. I mean, any time of year is good, but this is the time of year where a lot of people will focus on resolutions. We don't do resolutions, we do long-term behavioral change. And so that's where we hit the ground running, and where some people fall off in February, we're pulling you back. So that's the best thing about this. Any other questions? So I can let Michelle go to sleep because I'm sure she's tired. Lord,
I'm heading straight to bed.
so again, if you guys have any questions, tag me, message me, email me. I'm here to answer them. And we're going to make 2019 your most successful year ever. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
All right. I hope you guys have an amazing night. The link for what, Marie? The link for the group? I think you're already signed up. You want the link to the sample call. I'm going to send you the link for the sample call. So, and we will see you on Wednesday night.
See you then.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for joining me, Nichelle.
Anytime.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.